Losing Garoppolo is not a good idea, but it's not a terrible one because the quarterback is not the center of what this team does.
I'm not giving you an option because you don't have it. But realistically, what would have done more damage to the 49ers' chances for the remainder of their year? Losing Jimmy Garoppolo or Christian McCaffrey? Feel free to answer on the radio.
No. I'm thinking because that's not an easy question.
It's not, but this is where you can at least drop it. That's a good question on me. I mean, that's a good question.
I'm trying.
Anything you have to think about that long by definition is a good question.
Boy, that's a great question.
Thank you, Michael. 4:15 is coming up anyway.
I would say, for the moment, Garoppolo, but I'm willing to change my answer in a couple of weeks if Purdy doesn't look awful, which he could. I mean, that's the other thing here is we don't know what we don't know about him. I mean, he did throw the one pick, so it's not like, he's pristine. And he didn't throw the ball deep downfield or create a bunch of plays. So
how many times have you said that about Jimmy, though?
Well, that's my point. It's that, it might be McCaffrey now, but I'm going to say Garoppolo because, Brock Purdy may turn out to be just what you saw yesterday, or he might turn out to be a third-string quarterback.
I'll say this about Christian McCaffrey. Yesterday, he impressed me as a tougher SOB than I was really thinking. And having said all that, Kyle has to stop running him into the back of an offensive line. Like that, Christian McCaffrey is better as a slot receiver than he is a short yardage back. And Jordan Mason, I think, gave you enough of a look to where he should be looked at as your short yardage back. And it's officially time to take the training wheels off Ty Davis-Price. It is. It just is. Get him in the game. I think he's the only one who was dressed and didn't play at least something yesterday. So get him in the game. There's no more waiting around for Perfect. Perfect has officially left town. It's scramble to keep it all together time for the 49ers. And welcome, boys and girls, to your 4 o'clock hour.
You're listening to 95.7 The Game, KGMZ FM and HD1 San Francisco. Always live on Twitch, YouTube, and the free Odyssey app. Damn well better be free.
We got an awful lot to get into. In 15 minutes from right now, the Hall of Famer, Michael Irvin, is going to join us to talk about the situation the 49ers wake up in today. Until then, your calls. This is Bert in Sacramento. What's going on, Bert? You're on Damon and Ratto.
Hey, love the show, guys. And I'm just going to tell you, I think McCaffrey, to answer your question, Damon. But honestly, I'm a Philadelphia Eagles fan. And I remember being at the Eagles-Rams in 2017 when Carson Wentz got injured. And I remember leaving that stadium crying, thinking the season was over. Now, I'm not comparing that Eagles team to this Niners team or Brock Purdy to Nick Foles. But I think it's foolish to think your guys' season's over. As an Eagles fan, I do not want to play you guys. It could be at home. I don't think it matters. You guys come in to Philly, you guys are a juggernaut, in my opinion. And I think a win like yesterday could bring this team together. And the defense could look at Kyle Shanahan and say, hey, get us 15 points a game, and we'll bring this sucker home for you guys. I could see that.
Thank you, Bert. Appreciate the call. And look, there are, some say, well, the Eagles and Nick Foles. And look, Nick Foles had like 5 years of NFL experience before he was thrown into that situation. What's amazing here is that Brock Purdy is that there's basically no one who's done less in a professional career at this point in time who's ever been thrown into the mix of a team that's supposed to be going somewhere, right? I mean, that's the extreme of this whole thing. When I was growing up, it was Jeff Hostetler was the first backup quarterback to officially ever take the reins and win a Super Bowl when Chris Sims got hurt. Oh, by the way, that was a Giants. Phil Sims. Thank you. Chris still had his spleen at the time. The similarity between that Giants team and this 49ers team, a smoking hot defense and a running game. I mean, I'm not saying that Joe Morris is back there, but Christian McCaffrey is. Man, McCaffrey, he was good yesterday. McCaffrey and Deebo Samuel, two guys who were iffy throughout the week, put on a workhorse collar. They really did. Those important games out of both of them.
No, they did exactly, what Kyle Shanahan needed them to do, which is make sure we don't lose the ball. Make sure we can have it all day long. Because that's part of whatever success Purdy's going to have, is that he's not asked to do a lot, which means the 49ers need to have the ball in places where they can run comfortably. They don't need a lot of third and longs. They don't need a lot of, drives starting at their own 8. They need to make this as safe and easy for him as possible, because no matter what he looked like yesterday, he's still a third-string quarterback who was drafted at the tail end of the 7th round. And football is not replete with stories of glory from guys in that situation.
And look, if there's one thing we do know about backup quarterbacks is they look better the less you see of them, right?
They look best when they're holding a clipboard.
And then, maybe a game or two. But to ask anything more than a game or two to be consistently good in this league for any backup quarterback is difficult. To be consistently good in your rookie year as a third-string quarterback who has now been flipped the keys to one of the true Ferraris in all of football. Hey, maybe he grabs the wheel and spins this sucker around the track and holds a really good line and looks good, and there you go. There's your NASCAR reference for the day to our one NASCAR fan who's always
truthfully,
looking for it.
It's a better analogy if you say he's the guy who will be looking at the map from the passenger side, because the defense is still driving this car.
Right. It's like a rally car.
Yeah.
He's the other guy. It's like a Baja 500 or something.
Yeah. That to me, that's how I've always viewed this quarterback gig in San Francisco, that it's not about him. It's about all the things around him. Have the good offensive line, have a running attack, have a defense that doesn't make you be on the field for very long. I mean, that's the thing. Purdy was on the field for essentially 18 minutes.
Don't go fluffing my analogies, Ray.
I'm sorry. It's where I went. No, but I mean, think about that. His entire career, other than a couple of kneel downs, is 18 minutes of football. That's like next to it. That's like not even a small sample size.
It's almost no sample size.
Yeah. He may never, we could safely say he's never played.
We'd only be wrong by about 18 or so minutes.
Yeah.
888-957-9570. This is Vince in San Francisco. Hello, Vince.
Hey, what's up, guys? So I just wanted to say, based off of what we have to look at with Purdy playing the one game yesterday, if he maintains that, there is no real significant drop-off between him and Jimmy Garoppolo. To answer your question, I think it's going to hurt more if you lose CMC than Jimmy. And that being said, we know what Jimmy has given this offense and this team for the last 5 seasons. He lost the Super Bowl. He lost the NFC game. Still what I believe to be 2 massive overthrows that could have been game winners. I don't know if it's going to be enough even still. I don't know if we had enough to win the Super Bowl with Jimmy. There isn't a whole lot different from the previous season. Now, our defense is playing better, and we're going to need the defense to get takeaways like they did yesterday and the offensive line to not have penalties, because that's the only way that we can really kill ourselves. We can't let Brock Purdy kill us.
There you go. Well, no one needs to die. But, yeah, look, just basically you're going to hand Brock Purdy a slightly thinner version of the playbook that was handed to Jimmy Garoppolo, right? It might not. If Jimmy was in there going to run 200 plays, maybe Brock is looking at about 150.
Yeah, not even close to that, I would imagine.
Right.
I think this playbook's going to be it's going to be a paperback for a while.
Look, if you're Kyle Shanahan, you're going to reduce everything to 2 reads. Here's your primary, here's your secondary. Forget about third and fourth, because I'd rather you get rid of the ball than make a bad decision thinking that you got an illusion of a third option. Make it real simple. Real simple, and real simple is going to be turning around and handing that ball off an awful lot. 49ers need to start running the ball like the days of yore if they're really going to go all the way. I mean, forget it. Let's not even start. I'm going to stop talking like that. We should stop talking like that. The goal is not now to win the Super Bowl or get to the NFC. The goal is real simple. Play as well as you can each and every week and take your shot with that. Win your division, get a home playoff game, and then a puncher's chance is what you're looking at. Years ago, I'm talking like on my 1050 days, I took one Iowa State phone call from an alumni, and it was from a woman. I have Jacqueline in Palo Alto who says she went to Ohio State, who has thoughts on Brock Purdy.
Iowa State.
Iowa State. Thank you very much. Jacqueline, is this the same Iowa State fan that I talked to years ago?
It is.
I remembered. How are you?
Good. How are you guys?
We're doing very well. What can you tell us about the Brockett ship?
He was phenomenal in October. They called it Brocktober in Ames because he was had an amazing winning percentage in October. But when he came on, he was third string quarterback, came in for the second string quarterback who got injured in Oklahoma. We won at Oklahoma, and then he started the next 45 games for Iowa State. He's phenomenal. He's the real deal. It sucks that Jimmy G went down, but Brock is amazing. He's a fantastic human being, and he's a phenomenal football player. So we are in good hands.
I'll say this. He didn't look scared. He really didn't look scared at any point in time. Jacqueline, thank you very much. Jacqueline and I talk every about 8-9 years or so. So it was nice to get back in touch with my one Iowa State connection.
Well, enjoy 2031 then.
I can't wait to hear from her. Maybe she's got a Larry Eustace update for me. How about, there's a pull.
Yeah, that's a long pull.
Yeah.
That's a long time ago.
Yeah. He got in trouble for partying in dorms.
Yes, he did.
Here's the thing. You can drink on campus, just not with a student body.
Unless you're doing it out in the open with the president of the university standing next to you drinking as well.
Yeah, that would be the only way you could maybe get away with it, and even now. But we got Michael Irvin, just a few minutes. This is Dave in Livermore. What do you got, Dave?
Hey, so really quick, I want to say CMC is more important because every time we got to the playoffs, we needed a dynamic weapon to put us over the top. But I have two questions for you. I think the playbook is actually going to open up a little bit because Jimmy does not like play action, and Brock showed a lot of play action. But my question is, with Josh Johnson coming in here, do you just automatically say Brock Purdy's the better player? That's because Josh knows the offense. So my other question is, why do we still constantly see CMC going up the middle when he's not producing up the middle? And we got this young rookie that is constantly producing up the middle when CMC is producing more with dump-offs and checkdowns and stuff like that. So my question to you is, should we see more Jordan Mason up the middle, and do we just hand the reins to Brock Purdy? Those are my two questions. Thanks, guys.
Look, I mean, the reins are handed to Brock. It's no one's job to just give it to him. It's his job to lose for the rest of the way, and I think that Kyle Shanahan feels better about Brock Purdy being on his roster than Josh Johnson, or else Josh Johnson would have been on this roster a lot earlier than 5 minutes ago. Shanahan likes Purdy. He does.
He does. But let's be honest, he loses his job if he gets hurt. He doesn't lose his job for any other reason.
That's what I think.
I mean, but that was the case with Garoppolo as well. I mean, 49ers have now officially been out of options twice and still created options. I think at some point you're looking at a McCown.